becoming the foreperson. Your job here is to guide them through the law. You're narrowing the issues, taking all this facts, some of it matters, some of it doesn't. They've got all this law, some of it matters, some of it doesn't. You are narrowing their focus, you're narrowing the issues into what is important. You're going to become the reasonable person. And when I say this, and part of what this means is don't take outlandish positions. Try and imagine, what would your parents say? What would your best friends say? What is a reasonable person going to be saying about this case? And if your argument is something that you don't think somebody back there might say, you probably shouldn't say it either. Pose questions versus answers. Back to need a liquor commission. We could say the investigator failed by not standing behind the counter and looking out the door to see whether or not Dan Jones could see Walter Watkins. The investigator failed by not even asking him. You could do that. Or you could say, whose job is it to prove that Dan Jones could even see out that window? What steps did the investigators take to even answer that question for us? And it's a slight difference, but it's the difference between being told versus leading you to water and then drinking. And when questions make people create their own answers, and everyone is more receptive to their own answers than they are to being told anything, even though I'm telling you this now. Do you think people are more receptive to their own answers than being told? Another technique we're going to use for becoming a foreperson, get rid of I, get rid of you. I'm the lawyer, you're the jury. No, we're all in this together. How do we decide blah, blah, blah? Let's talk about blah, blah, blah. And by phrasing it like that, you're making it feel like more of a discussion. Likewise, when you're posing questions, what do you think? No. Well, what do we think Dan Jones could see from the clerks, or from behind the counter? How can we figure out that? My client. I will jump out of a window if I ever hear you guys saying my client. Your client has a name. Just say it. Do you think anyone back in the jury room is going to be saying the client? No. They'll be saying Mr. So-and-so, blah, blah, blah. Anytime you have that urge to say my client, just say their name. And what all this is doing is this idea of arming your allies. You know, there's a strong school of thought, which I kind of agree with, says the jury's already made up their mind. Or it's kind of like politics, swaying an election. We got people who are going to agree with one thing, people who are going to disagree, and then there's some in the middle. And so when I talk about arming our allies, you're giving them the ammo they need to push your point back in the jury room. You're preempting the arguments that the other side is going to make. And ultimately, you're arming them to sway those people in the middle and hopefully on the other side and against you.